What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, welcome to another edition of Quita in the Mornings. My name is Quita. We are in the mornings and we're talking about some women's hoops, guys. Last night was a long night for me because I had to go to the Sky game. I didn't have to. I wanted to. I loved it. I thought it was fun. Me and Mama had a good time. Shout out to all the awesome people of the internet that I was able to see in real life yesterday. That was super, super awesome. I look forward to continuing to see people at games. And please stop me, talk to me, and like don't mind me if I'm slightly awkward. Because like in real life, I am an awkward person. So like, you know, if you're like, that's weird, because I'm an odd person. So, you know. Anyway, shout out to all the awesome people on the internet who went to the Sky game yesterday. It was very, very fun. And man. I like almost lost my voice yesterday, but we're going to power through this thing and we're going to make it happen, okay? We are about to make it happen, Captain, okay? So again, apologies for the lateness of this stream. It truly, I want to say it's not my fault, but it is because I chose to go to game last night and whatnot. So yeah, with this commitment of doing this thing every single morning, it's a little bit difficult when I am actually out late. But luckily the game was at 6 instead of 7, so like I was able to like leave at a decent-ish time. I didn't stay for the player autograph stuff, mainly because if I would have stayed for that, it's no way I would have woke up early enough to do this. So, you know, anyway, let's go. Let's get to a super chat first, and then we'll get into the agenda because, as you all know, I usually have themes for my streams. And for today's stream is, the question is, ... The question is, and the question that I'm wondering is, does this even matter? All right, that is the theme of the day, and cool points for anybody who like understands the reference. The question is, I named it after a song. Does anyone know? Can anyone guess the song? Okay. All right. So that's the theme of the day. We're going to talk with Deja Kelly. We're going to talk Caitlin Clark. We're going to talk preseason games all around. And the question that we're asking is, does this even matter? Do these games even matter? And yeah, we'll talk about that. All right. So that's the theme for the day. Anyway, let's get to the super chat real quick. Thank you so much to Peg for the super chat. Says, Quita, I'm curious what your profession is and if you work from home. Also, Sky looked good last night. Haley Van Lith played great. Yeah, the Sky looked really, really good last night. I enjoyed the way Haley played. I'm in marketing and I half work from home, half go in the office. It depends. But yeah, thank you so much, Peg, for the super chat. 100%, Sheila. See, man, y'all know y'all self some music. Yes, Quandary. Yes, it is the Winans. The question is, will I ever leave you? And the answer is no. Y'all can hear I can't sing, right? Y'all can hear that. Anyway, that is the song. Literally, as I was thinking about a title for today's stream, literally that song popped in my head, and I was like, got it. That's the title for the stream. That's the title. Anyway, yeah. So y'all should look that up. Look up that song. Look up that song. It's a great song, in my opinion. It's an old school song, but that's my type of music. Okay, that is my type of music. Thank you so much, Julia, for that super chat. Really do appreciate your support of the channel. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the topic of today. So, the question I'm asking is, does this even matter? Do preseason games actually matter in the WNBA? And you could say, no, they don't matter because for the most part, for the majority of teams, most of the spots are pretty solidified without any preseason games being played, right? You kind of already know what to expect, with the exception of the Golden State Valkyries as the new expansion team. You kind of really know what every team has to work with, and you kind of got a good grasp of things. So you may say, no, preseason doesn't actually matter. It's a glorified scrimmage. Doesn't really matter. Let's move on. But I would argue that, yes, preseason does matter. WNBA preseason games in particular matter because in the WNBA, there's only 12 roster spots for each team at a maximum, and players are literally fighting for their careers in preseason. In the preseason, it's an opportunity to for coaches and GMs to really see what their players have, because most teams, they're having 15 plus players in training camp, right? Sometimes up to 20 in training camp. And they have to whittle that all the way down. But unlike the NBA, there is no G League assignments. There is no two-way players. There is no deep bench luxury. So preseason gives opportunities for players who won't get another opportunity to be on a team to do whatever they can in preseason. Those few preseason moments, in a lot of ways, are their entire shot to making the WNBA. You know, in my opinion, there isn't really any other league, any other major league in America that puts so much weight on just a few games in preseason like the WNBA does. Because, again, when we talk about the other major sports, there's other opportunities for players who don't end up making the cut, right? There is minor leagues. There is G League. There is, being on a training camp, or not a training camp, a practice squad member. Like there's other opportunities, but for the WNBA, that's it. Preseason may be your one and only time for teams to see what you can do, right? That's a lot of pressure for these borderline players. And these games matter because of that. Also, preseason games reveal who's ready and who's not. This is an opportunity for coaches to test their lineups. Who works well together? What we learned yesterday is Haley Van Lith and Rachel Banham do not work together. They should not be on the court at the same time. That's the type of stuff that you learn in preseason before the season starts, and it winds up costing you games. You learn that type of stuff in preseason. That was just an example. There's other examples I could say, but that was the one that popped in my head. So for those who are who get upset about that, but it popped in my head anyway. Also, it provides an opportunity to allow rookies to prove if they can hang, right? Like a Deja Kelly, which we're going to talk about more about in a sec. Also, it allows for injured stars to kind of shake off the rust a little bit. Elizabeth Kitley, she's one of the players who was out last year due to a torn ACL. She's back this year, but she's rusty. She got a little bit to work off of, right? A little bit to work through. And also, it allows preseason games allow teammates to learn how to gel together and make some stuff happen, right? Whether it's Caitlin learning how to play with DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard, whether it's Jewel Lloyd learning how to play with Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray. These reps are real, and they're very important during preseason because it matters, but it also doesn't matter in terms of records. So you could test stuff out, you can see how things work, you can make some mistakes, and it doesn't matter to your overall record. Also, now, more than it ever has, preseason is where money moves are made and lots of marketing is made. So here's the deal. This is the first year that I can ever remember that the WNBA teams made in my opinion, systematic approach to actually sell preseason game tickets, like their home preseason game tickets. Like this was the first time that the Chicago Sky had ever, that I remember, maybe way back in the past, they did this. But in the past, for a lot of teams, not just the Sky, preseason games were a season ticket holder benefit. Like this was a thing that you got to go to the game for free, and you got to, after the game, there was sometimes like a player signing, or like you would get your merch or whatever, but it wasn't open to the public. It was just for season ticket holders. Now, WNBA teams, we're seeing them go everywhere in preseason. Last year, we saw the Aces play Puerto Rico in South Carolina. This year, we saw Indiana go to Iowa. We saw Vegas and Dallas go to Indiana as well, South Bend. We're going to see New York go to Oregon. They're doing this, one, because it allows players to connect with their college roots, but also they're doing it for money. And while, yes, the numbers for all these other games are not as good as that Indiana to Iowa game, it's still making the WNBA money, whereas in the past, they weren't making money from preseason. So they're making something from preseason, and that's important for a team perspective. It's not just an opportunity to just give your season ticket holders a good time. It's also an opportunity for you to say, you know what? Oh yeah, the Chicago Sky did go to Baton Rouge as well. How in the world could I forget that? Anyway, it's allowing the WNBA and the respective teams to make money, to be seen in front of bigger audiences and whatnot, and it's making a difference, right? 1.3 million viewers tuning in for Fever versus Brazil. Like that's the type of preseason hype that is good for business, right? It's good for business. It justifies more national TV games. It boosts ticket sales, and hopefully down the line more sponsorships for these teams. And it's just great. It's just great. In my opinion, this year's preseason really did help to shape the economics of how this 2025 season is going to go. And then finally, preseason matters. It's important because it allows fans to see future stars before they break out, right? We are able to see players who were borderline rookies, and like, hey, will they make a team or not? We are able to see them show up and show out on the biggest of stages and be fun. Like a player like Aaliyah Nye, or a player like a Deja Kelly, right? That type of stuff. It's great to see. It really is great to see. Preseason is where hardcore fans kind of get ahead of the curve and be like, yeah, I was watching this before the season started when this person started to show glimpses of greatness, right? I think it's great. And in a 40-plus game season, every single bit matters. This is not the NBA. You do not have 82 games to work through mistakes. You don't. You have preseason, and then you got 44 games. And those 44 games go by fast. And you need to make sure that you can get your day one rotations in and work that through in the preseason. So that way, when you get to the actual regular season, you can just kick off the door running. Because preseason in the WNBA is not an optional thing. It's not a random, let's just have some games. No, it's a preseason of survival for borderline players. It's where rookies return, or legends return, I should say. It's where rookies show up and show out. It's where decisions are made that ultimately shape the entire WNBA season. So yes, preseason does matter. Okay, now let's move on to something that I saw yesterday that I was just like, oh my goodness, I got to talk about it. Okay, I got to talk about this because this is huge. All right, here we go. Deja Kelly. So here's the deal. She hit the game winner. She led the team in scoring, and fun fact, she was undrafted. Deja Kelly called game on A'ja Wilson's signature shoe night, and WNBA Twitter was going wild yesterday. But here's the thing that some people are not paying attention to. Even after all of that, even after winning the game, even after playing fantastic, Deja Kelly still actually might not make this team. She still might not make the roster because in the WNBA, talent alone just isn't enough. It's a numbers game. And right now, there just isn't enough room due to other contracts for the Aces to end up with likely their ideal roster. So, guys, let's take some time. Let's take some time to break it down. What did Deja Kelly do yesterday? What is she up against? And what's at stake heading into these final last couple of days of cuts? So, quick TLDR, or maybe this is TLDW. Like, TLDR is like too long, don't read. But since you all are watching this, maybe this is a too long, don't watch. Like, here's the main point. The Aces have 15 players left in training camp. 6 of those players are on guaranteed contracts. It's likely that another 3 are shoo-ins to make the roster. But keep in mind that only 12 players can ultimately make the roster for the Las Vegas Aces. Luckily for them, because they were able to, move out some money, they actually do have the ability to have 12 players if they want to, right? In years past, this is a team that has dealt with not being able to have 12 players. But this year, it looks like they can if they would like, and if they choose the right players, that is. And going down to the wire when it comes to the WNBA season about to start next week, the Aces don't have that much time to figure out those remaining 3 spots, right? This is not just rough for the Aces staff, right? Again, remember, guys, the Las Vegas Aces do not have a GM. This team does not have a GM. You have a president, and you have Becky Hammond. You got Nikki Fargas as the president. You got Becky Hammond. That's it. You do not have a GM. So yes, it is tough for them to figure out what they want to do with these 3 spots. But this is brutal for the players that's gonna wind up getting cut. So let's go back to Deja Kelly. This is a player that came into this thing with a impossible task. Very, very impossible task. Deja Kelly is not a first-round pick. She is not a multi-year vet. She wasn't even drafted this year. She wasn't drafted, guys. Deja Kelly went to draft night in New York, was dressed to impress, didn't hear her name called. She sat there or stood there or whatever, didn't hear her name called from the stage. But then she got a phone call that literally changed everything. The Las Vegas Aces, the 2-time champs, wanted her. Becky Hammond, another undrafted player who had legendary status in the WNBA. Becky wanted Deja. She wanted to give her a shot. She wanted to give her a chance to prove that she can hang with the Aces with a training camp contract. So, how in the world does a training camp contract player become the story of the Las Vegas Aces on A'ja Wilson shoe night? Wild. So let me set the scene real quick. Let me set the scene because I think this is kind of fun. So, yesterday, May 6th, in Las Vegas, Michelob Ultra Arena is pink. It's pink because today, or yesterday, was the day that, A'ja Wilson's signature shoe, the A1, went public to everybody where people can buy it. All right, so her shoe drops. And you got Don Staley in the building. You got Bam Adebayo in the building. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe in the arena. Whole vibe. Pink everything, right? Even the Aces changed their headers and their stuff to be pink. Like, pink everywhere. But instead of it just being a night for A'ja Wilson and her shoe, this was a night that in the last 5 minutes of the game, guys, Deja Kelly takes over. She has 4 straight buckets, right? She has a big shot 3. She finishes the game with a, in my opinion, signature for her. Mid-range J with 4 seconds left to go. Game over. Game over. It's over. With 4 seconds left, game on the line. Of course, you had the bench players in for both teams and whatnot. Because it's preseason, so like they wasn't gonna have Asia and all that and all of them in the game when it didn't matter. It's preseason. So what both teams did, they had their bench players in. Hey, finish the game out for us. Finish it out and make some stuff happen. And Deja Kelly took over. With 4 seconds left, she knocked down a mid-range jumper. Game over. Aces. 85. Aces. 84. Phoenix Mercury. And Deja Kelly, in 13 minutes, finished with 15 points. 5 of 7 from the field. Deja Kelly had no fear whatsoever. Just buckets. Buckets. Left and right. Buckets. In that fourth quarter. So, if y'all are thinking like, okay, if Deja Kelly is that good, why in the world did she go undrafted? Why did she go undrafted? Well, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Because Deja Kelly was that girl at North Carolina. That's where she started off her college basketball career at North Carolina with the Tar Heels. And she was great, right? I believe she was like a 3-time All-ACC player. Like, she was very, very good at North Carolina. But she made the surprise decision to end up transferring to Oregon. So she transferred to Oregon in her final season in college. And her minutes and her points dropped by going to Oregon. You know, her minutes dropped, I believe, like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes a game. Her points dropped a couple points per game, though her assists did go up. I believe her rebounds went up. So like there was some stuff that happened. Overall, it was kind of like it was interesting, right? Her transition to Oregon, and it didn't help that Oregon didn't make it far in the tournament, or at all, actually. And while I thought that, in my opinion, Deja Kelly was a third-round pick, while I thought she was a third-round pick, maybe that slight dip in points, maybe that was all it took for her to fall off the draft boards. Because remember, here's the thing. Deja Kelly is 5'8". And not only is she 5'8", she's a 5'8" shooting guard. Not only is she a 5'8" shooting guard, she is a 5'8" shooting guard that shoots 23% from the three. Or she's like a combo. Maybe she's like a combo type guard. But anyway, she shoots 23% from the three. And when we think about smaller guards in the WNBA without an elite 3 percentage, you don't see it very much, right? Those players get overlooked. Those players end up competing for a spot in training camp, and they don't make it. They don't make the roster. Because if you're short, you either need to be an elite passer or you need to be an elite 3-point shooter. But Deja's game, it got overlooked in the draft. But I'm going to tell you this, it's not getting overlooked now. It is not getting overlooked now because she has shown out not just in 1, but 2 games so far. Right? It's not just yesterday's game against the Mercury. It's also the Aces game against Dallas that we saw last Friday as well, where Deja Kelly came off the bench and played very, very well in that fourth quarter. Right? It looks good. But here's the issue. The Aces have a roster crunch. We're in a roster crunch for the Las Vegas Aces, right? This is the catch. This is a very, very tough team to watch. So let me explain what you all are looking at right now. You are looking at the 15 players on the Las Vegas Aces roster. And what you will see is bolded. The bolded names are players who are on guaranteed contracts. All right? These are players on guaranteed contracts. Okay? Now, the names of the people who have TC after their name are the players who are on training camp contracts. And the ones who say drafted next to them, those are players who were recently drafted. For Elizabeth Kitley, the reason why hers says drafted, even though she was technically drafted in 2024, is because she didn't sign her rookie contract until this year. So that's why, because she was injured all last year, and so yeah, so that's why she's actually technically a rookie this year, and that's why it says drafted under her name. Hopefully that does make sense. Also, the players with U next to their name means that they're unprotected. They're on unprotected contracts, which means that if the Aces wanted to cut them, they can, and it's no issue. Okay, all right. So the 6 players already guaranteed. We know this. Not a surprise, right? I would say the only kind of question mark really is one, when exactly is Dana Evans going to be healthy? Dana Evans is currently injured right now. She's of course with the team, but like she's injured, so she's kind of rehabbing and getting back together. And Kirsten Bell is another player who's on a guaranteed contract who, in hindsight, shouldn't be. In hindsight, she absolutely shouldn't be. So, yeah, that's something to know. Oh, darn. I forgot Megan Gustafson. My bad. Yeah, Megan Gustafson is missing from this list. She is also on an unprotected contract. My apologies on that. I thought I had everybody. Anyway. Yes. Yes. Megan Gustafson is missing from this list. But anyway, you got Jackie Young, you got Kirsten Bell, who's on a guaranteed contract, who in hindsight should not have been picked up for that guaranteed contract, because if the Aces did not have Kirsten Bell locked in for this year, they would just cut her and they would be really good. Because to me, the ideal roster for the Las Vegas Aces team is Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Jewel Lloyd, Dana Evans, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Of course, she's pregnant, but when she comes back and is able to play, Kia Stokes, Aaliyah Nye, Tiffany Mitchell, Deja Kelly. I would like to say probably, I'm not sure about either Crystal Bradford or it's either Crystal Bradford, Queen Egbo, or Megan Gustafson, one of those 3, and then Elizabeth Kitley. Like, those would be the players I would get. Of course, you want to make sure to get Aaliyah Nye. You want to get Deja Kelly. But, like, the problem is with this roster being very guard heavy, Jackie Young's a guard, Kirsten Bell's a guard, Chelsea Gray is a guard, Jewel Lloyd's a guard, Dana Evans is a guard. So 5 of the guaranteed contracts right now are already going to guards. Tiffany Mitchell is going to make this team. I don't have a doubt that she's not going to make this team. I think she's going to make it. So now you got 6 guards. Now you got to figure out what to do. Of course, you got to have a player like a Kia Stokes on the team. You got to have Cheyenne Parker-Tyus. Of course, yes, she's on a training camp contract, and of course, yes, she is pregnant, but she should be back towards the end of the season. Chuckle, if Kia's going, who's starting in place of Kia Stokes? Who's starting? I'm just saying. Like, I don't think that Becky Hammond trusts anybody else to really start. Who's better, Dana or Deja? Of course, Dana. Dana's better, yes. But Dana's injured right now. Right? This is a team that does have a lot of guards. And again, it'd be easier if Kirsten Bell was not on a guaranteed contract, but she is, and so that's that. It does kind of hurt things a little bit. Also, a thing to note is that because Cheyenne Parker-Tyus is pregnant, and assuming she makes this roster, which I think she will, the Las Vegas Aces will be able to sign a hardship player. So that's it. Okay. All right. They will be able to sign a hardship player because she's pregnant. So yeah, that is something to Note. All right. So technically, the Aces could have 13 players. Technically, they could have 13 players. All right. Jay says, how is Bell on a guaranteed contract? Because the Aces picked it up last year. Rookie deals are 3 years plus an optional fourth. If a team picks up that optional fourth, that fourth year becomes a guaranteed year. Okay, guaranteed year. I don't know. I don't know how people can say that Dana is not better. Like I think that's wild. I think that's a wild statement. I really do. I really do. Like truly watch. Have you watched the last several years of Dana Evans play? Like I'm just saying. Like nah. She's a better defender. She is I wouldn't say a better passer, but better defender. She's a better shooter. She's a better like 3-point shooter. She's a seasoned player who kind of knows how to navigate the WNBA. I think the only thing that may be better for Deja Kelly is her ability to hit that mid-range jumper. Like I don't think Dana's mid-range jumper is as good as Deja's, but in basically all the other metrics, I think of course Dana's better. But there's still room for both, in my opinion, on this team. But this is why I'm saying that it's going to be tough for a player like a Deja Kelly to actually make a roster, because remember, Aaliyah Nye is pretty much guaranteed. She's one of the best 3-point shooters on this team. She's definitely making the cut. The question is, do the Aces end up picking up a player like a Deja Kelly as well, with the roster crunch that they have? I don't know. Maybe there's a chance that she does not make the actual cut, but with Cheyenne Parker-Tyus being pregnant, maybe she's the 13th player they bring in to be a hardship player for Cheyenne. Maybe. Anyway, Miracle, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, morning to anyone able to grab the A1 Asia shoes. Yeah, guys, those things sold out fast. They sold out very, very fast. I do believe that inventory was not fully stocked, because I saw online that like the 8th was another sort of like release date of sorts. So I'm interested to see if tomorrow we'll see more shoes go online tomorrow on the 8th for those Asia Wilson shoes. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. Kelvin says, what changed, Quita? Initially, you didn't think Nye would make the final cut. Yes, I said right after the Dallas versus Las Vegas Aces game, I did say that I didn't think Aaliyah Nye would make the team. The next day, I actually took some time to actually look at the guaranteed roster spots, and I looked at like the numbers game of it all, and I was like, actually, yeah, it does actually make a whole lot of sense for you to keep a player like an Aaliyah Nye, just with like the way the money worked out from a contract perspective. So yes, it makes sense for them to keep Aaliyah Nye. So yes, right after that game, I did say that I wasn't sure if she's gonna make the team, and then next day I actually got more information, and I was like, actually, yeah, I think she's gonna make the team. So yeah. That is my that's my opinion. All right. And with more information, I change my opinion sometimes. It was because I didn't actually do a deep dive into the Aces before I went to that game, and so I just didn't know how all their numbers went. But then yeah. Anyway, let's keep talking. So we got a lot of good players for this Las Vegas Aces team, and Becky Hammond said it herself. She's like, hey, I would love to keep all these players, but it's a numbers game. It is a numbers game. So, not that many spots left to go. So, what happens next? Here's the deal. Let's be real. If Deja Kelly gets cut, which there's a chance that she may get cut, I do think that some other WNBA team will pick her up this season. I think Deja Kelly is a good player. Her mid-range looks good. She plays with confidence in the WNBA, which is a hard thing for some rookies to do. And so she's shown moments of really good play in the WNBA. And so, yeah, if there's no space for her in Vegas, I do think she's on another team before the season's over. Now, I don't think she is going to make a day one roster anywhere else if she gets cut. But she may, again, be brought in after the fact during the middle of the season to join a team. So here's to hoping that she actually makes the roster for the Las Vegas Aces. But again, if she does not, I do think we have seen enough from Deja Kelly that another team would be like, actually, you know what? I enjoyed the way she played. I'm going to bring her in, and we'll go from there. Okay? So that's what I think. All right, so guys, let me know in the comments, what do you all think? If you were Becky Hammon, would you have Becky Hammon? If you were Becky Hammon, would you have Deja Kelly on your Final 12 roster? Also, if you were another GM, would you be picking up the phone and saying, ring, 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 Deja Kelly, you wanna come to our team in the middle of the season? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat and in the comments. Thank you. Okay. And then, guys, remember, this is a channel that we are just continuing to try to grow, continuing to try to make some stuff happen. And you all hitting that like button helps me to do just that. If y'all could take a moment of your time, hit that like button. If y'all appreciate the fact that I am dog tired, but I am still doing this stream this morning because I love what I do. I love talking about the game of women's basketball. I think this is fun. I think this is just a really awesome time to just talk about the game of women's basketball. So, if that's what y'all enjoy, if y'all are enjoying the stream, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button, okay? Do me a huge favor. DeAndre says, Quita, what are your thoughts on Harmony Turner? I like Harmony. She's not going to make the team. I don't think so. I think when it comes to the rookie guards, it's Aaliyah Nye's making it, and it's a question mark of whether or not Deja Kelly makes it. I don't think Harmony Turner has done enough in preseason to get a spot. I think Deja would get the nod over Harmony, in my opinion, right now. But I really do like Harmony. I really do. I don't think we've seen enough from her in preseason. I do not. Okay. All right. Real Money says, how about them Fever, Quita? Well, good segue. To let's talk about preseason and the Indian Fever. Okay. So, people have said that, hey, no one watches preseason games. No one watches. This is not preseason is not a big deal for the WNBA because no one watches. No one really cares about what happens in preseason games. But I'm going to tell you this year, we have seen an influx in preseason game attendance. And I want to tell the story like this. So last year in preseason, the Chicago Sky played the New York Liberty. This was a home preseason game. All right. May the 7th, 2024. I was there. I think Mama joined me on that game. I'm pretty sure. Mama was there for that game. But okay, Sky versus Liberty. In that game, actually, the Sky just destroyed the Liberty, 101-53, and whatnot. So anyway, it's a great day for the Chicago Sky. But this game had a registered attendance of 3,132 fans in attendance. All right, Sky versus Liberty, preseason, May the 7th, 2024. Now, a thing to note is, one, that game was only open to season ticket holders. And so, yes, that number is very, very low, but part of that is, one, because it was only preseason fans. All right. We move that up a year. And let's talk about some numbers. So yesterday, the Chicago Sky had 4,688 fans in attendance for their game against the Minnesota Lynx. The Golden State Valkyries ended up having 17,428 fans in attendance for their game against the Sparks, which they lost by 1 point to the LA Sparks, 83-82. Now that game, the reason why 17,000 plus came to that game, one is because it's a brand new team, brand new court. Like they're excited. You have the Golden State Valkyries at the Chase Center. It was a big deal. And they were like, hey, all of y'all better come out for this game. And so, yes, that was a huge reason as to why that game has 17,000 fans, right? Then we go to the other game that happened yesterday, which was the Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury in Las Vegas at Michelob Ultra Arena. We saw 8,637 fans go out for that game. All right. We also saw another preseason game, the Storm versus the Sun, where we were in. That was on May the 4th. We were in Seattle. We saw 7,153 fans join, and then also on May the 4th, we saw in Iowa City, we saw 14,998 fans in attendance to watch the Indiana Fever take on Brazil. The reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I'm talking about these games, the reason why I'm talking about the numbers is because all in all, both small and large, we have seen an increase from last year preseason to this year preseason. It's just obvious. We've seen an increase in that. All right. So the idea that people don't go out to watch WNBA preseason games, yeah, it's gone. But I specifically want to spend some time talking about the Sunday game with the Fever versus Brazil, because I think that gives a lot of insight as to the success that the WNBA can have if they fully lean more into what happened on Sunday. And to me, this gives a nod to what we will see in the future. All right, because on Sunday, 1.3 million people tuned in to watch a preseason WNBA game. All right. Not only did they watch a WNBA preseason game, 1.3 million people on average. Not only did that happen, the game was on ESPN. Think about it. That's never happened before, ever, or at least that anybody can really remember, right? The fact that a WNBA game preseason was on ESPN during the NBA playoffs. That's a wild thing to say. Wild thing to say. And it's even wilder to imagine that 1.3 million people on average, 14,000, a little bit less than 15,000 ended up showing up to the arena to watch the Indiana Fever play a preseason game against high schoolers. They played against the Brazilian national team that was a team that has quite a bit of high schoolers in it, right? Has some high schoolers, has some teenagers, young players. This is not like the Fever were playing another WNBA team. They weren't. They were playing a team that a lot of people don't know anybody on the team, right? Most people cannot name anybody on the Brazilian national team, with the exception of maybe Camila Cardoso, but Camila Cardoso didn't even play in that game because she's with the Chicago Sky, right? That's the kicker, guys. This number, 1.3 million on average, beats ESPN's average for WNBA games for all of last year. All right? The peak was 1.6. 1.3 million is on average. All right? That's 13% higher than the WNBA regular season average last year. Okay? But it gets even wilder, guys. Did you know that only 2 WNBA preseason games in the last 15 years has had better numbers than that? And both of those games, of course, surprise, 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 had LeBron James on it. Right? This was not a fluke number to watch this game. Right? This is a future prediction of what is more to come. Right? The Indiana Fever played Brazil in Caitlin Clark's first game in Iowa, back at her old stomping grounds of Carver Hawkeye Arena. Guys, and this game was wild. This was a full circle moment for Caitlin and Indiana, or Caitlin and Iowa, really. This is a game that sold out in a couple of minutes. In less than 30 minutes, it sold out, right? Like almost 15,000. It was technically, the number was 14,998 fans. We just gonna round that up and say 1,500. So in front of 1,500 fans, packed in Carver Hawkeye Arena, we saw people paying up to around $440 on average when it came to ticket resale. We saw a 116 level decibel during the intros. That's very, very loud. Very, very loud. And Caitlin, they came here for her, and she gave them what they came for. Meaning a crazy, crazy, crazy bomb as the first shot of the game. Did she give the fans what they wanted? Yes. Did she play a ton of minutes? No. But hey, the fans were happy. She finished the game with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists in just about 18 minutes. Then, of course, she's at the fourth quarter because why do you need to play in the fourth quarter against Brazil? It doesn't make any sense. But she gave the fans what they wanted early, and she sat because at that point, Indiana was absolutely destroying Brazil. But the real story, guys, was off the court. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and let's continue to talk through this, okay? Again, guys, we are talking about 1.3 million on average, 1.6 million peak who watched this game. This was a 71% jump in pregame show viewership as well. So that's something to note. WNBA Countdown was at 571,000, which was huge. That's a huge increase from last year's numbers. It's big. It's absolutely big. And guys, this is on the heels of a 2024 WNBA season that shattered records left and right in the WNBA. In 2024, we saw 22 regular season games that crossed 1 million viewers. 22. A record. We saw the All-Star game that had 3.4 million viewers. The highest ever for a WNBA All-Star game, right? The 2025 draft, 1.25 million people watched that game, watched that draft, right? And Caitlin Clark was a part of, I believe, 20 of 23 of the WNBA's most watched games last year. This is not a random blip. This is a shift. This is a full force trend, right? That we will continue to see for a long time, right? And so some people may be like, of course, we saw huge numbers for the Indiana versus Brazil game. Of course, it was in Iowa. Of course it did numbers because it's Caitlin in Iowa. Everybody wants to see that. Sure. And for that, I say, yes, you're right. Yeah, of course. Sure. But I think that just further proves the point, guys. This was the proves the point that I'm trying to make. This was an exhibition game. This was no playoffs at stake. This was no rivalry. These teams have never played before. All right? This is just one team playing a glorified warm-up match against a national team that a lot of people don't even know a player on that team. And still, with that glorified warm-up match, 1.3 million people showed up to watch. Tells us two things, guys. The demand is real. Yes, absolutely. Are people coming to watch Caitlin? Of course. I think you'd be silly and foolish to say otherwise. But the idea that if you put it on a bigger platform, more people will watch is a huge thing. This is the first year, guys, the first year ever that the WNBA made available all preseason games. This is a sea change, guys. Sea change. Last year, there was a fan on Twitter who went viral because she live streamed the Minnesota Lynx versus Sky game because it wasn't available for people to watch. And that led to a whole thing. And now this year, all games are accessible to people. And you can watch them for free on WNBA League Pass. It's a big deal, right? ESPN was like, actually, we want to get into action. We want to air a preseason game. It's a big deal. And it shows that when you make things more accessible, fans want to watch. Fans have been, yes. Let me hold a dollar, man. Yes. Fans have been thirsty for this for a long time. Yeah, it shows progress, right? This shows progress, and it shows that the WNBA is primed to explode in 2025. The Fever alone, guys, this year is going to have 41 games nationally televised. That's more than any franchise in league history, right? And it's just getting started. It's just getting started. And again, of course, the leaders of this thing is going to be the Indiana Fever, of course, because they got Caitlin. However, this is not just going to be a Indiana Fever-based thing. As I said earlier, as I talked through the numbers, we've seen high numbers across the board for attendance this year, not just with the Fever. Of course, the biggest numbers was with the Fever. However, you get what I'm saying. This is one of those things where, yes, they're the trendsetters. Yes, they're leading the pack. However, we are seeing growth. We are seeing absolute growth everywhere else, and I love to see it. I absolutely love to see it. I expect the Valkyries to continue to have a lot of fans come out to their games. Now, do I expect every single Valkyries game to have the attendance of yesterday? No, I don't, because yesterday was very, very special. But for 17,000 fans to come out to a preseason game in California, a place that has a whole bunch of other stuff to do, is huge. And what I'm saying, this is a trend that is going to continue as the season goes on. And last year was a record-setting year for the WNBA. I think this year is also going to be a record-setting year for the W. You got Paige Beckers in Dallas. You have the likes of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso in Chicago. You have Asia Wilson in Vegas. Like you have Kelsey Plum in LA. Like you have a lot of big things happening all throughout the WNBA. And I love it. Here's the deal, guys. The product in the WNBA is better now more than ever, in my opinion, right? This is big. And I think this is only just a glimpse of what more is to come. I personally am excited about it because to me, yes, the main story on this is about Caitlin and about the Indiana Fever, but I don't think it's just about her and that team. I think it shows what growth the WNBA overall has had and what this means for everybody in the W. This means more games. It means bigger stages. It means higher stakes. It means ultimately more money. The league is growing now faster now more than ever. And I love it. I love it. So if you're trying to downplay the WNBA, don't. It's not going down from here. All right. It's going up. I think a lot of people have run out of excuses as to why they don't want to watch the WNBA. I think it's a great product. It really is booming on all fronts, and I personally love it. I think this is really, really, really great. And yes, Chuckle, I mean, I would agree. Yes, the product has always been good, personally, because I've been watching for forever. Like I know how great the WNBA has been for decades, right? Now other people are watching more. They're engaging, they're tuning in, and I love to see it. And again, guys, as I went through with the numbers, yes, the main part of the story was the Indiana Fever, but it wasn't just about them. I talked about the Golden State Valkyries and how they had some very high numbers. I talked about how the Chicago Sky had higher numbers than last year. I talked about how the Aces had almost 9,000 fans come out yesterday. Like we are seeing growth all around. And I think this is huge for the W. Okay? 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 I think that is great. Zakara says, notice all this increase happened without lowering the rim. Yes. Yes. LJN says Sky Brazil only drew 300,000. Well, one, I don't know if that's true. I didn't actually look up the numbers for it, so I don't know. But let's assume LJN is correct, which LJN might be. I don't know. I didn't look. But let's just say it is 300,000. Think about it this way. That further proves my point. Yes, of course, it's not as high as 1.3 million. No one's saying it is. No one's saying that that's what it should be. The point is, last year it was 0 because it wasn't aired. It wasn't. Preseason games were not aired. So last year was 0. So 0 to 300K. That looked like a pretty good deal to me. I'm just saying. I think all of the I don't know if that was meant to be a dig or not, but it's not a dig. 300,000, if that's a true number, if LJN is correct in that number, 300,000 is excellent for a preseason game. Remember, this is brand new for the WNBA. The WNBA did not used to air this stuff. Okay? That's not a dig, and you will see people who will make that a dig. They'll post articles, they'll make videos that say all this stuff about, see, nobody wants to watch because only 300,000 people watch the Chicago Sky versus Brazil. Now, this is assuming that number is right. If that's the truth, 300,000 people watching a preseason game is huge. Yes, it's not as big as 1.3, but it also was on Ion as well. Now, do I believe if it was on ESPN, it would be at 1.3? No, I don't. I do think it'd be bigger than 300, Maybe it'd be around, 500,000, 600,000. Of course, yeah, not as big as Indiana. However, that's still really good. I don't understand the dig. I really don't understand the dig. Okay? All right. Douglas, thank you so much for the super chat. Says the 36-footer at the end of the third quarter she made the 24-footer to start the game. Yeah. And it was great to see. It was great to see. Kim K says, thanks so much for the super chat. Says, Quita, sorry, but who's more annoying, Caitlyn fans or Caitlyn haters? Exhausting listening. I think it's both very annoying. I don't understand. Like, dog. I think I don't know. I'm annoyed by it all. To be quite honest with you, I think it's the attempt to downgrade anything else that any other team does or any other player does, to exalt Caitlyn is ridiculous. Because rational people all know that in a lot of ways, Caitlyn and Indiana Fever are in a different sphere of influence, of popularity, of butts and seats, of ratings, right? We should all know that. I mean, it's very clear from the numbers. Like, you can obviously tell that's the case. So for there's people who like intentionally try to find any type of thing in comparison to downgrade and be like, oh, see, they suck because, not as many people watch them as they did Indiana. Well, duh, of course. I get it. And then there's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it? Yes, of course. We all know this. Rational people know this. Of course, you'll have those unrational people who won't admit it. But like, come on now. Like, we all get this. This is not necessary to dig every single time. It's not necessary. Anyway, I gotta go. I really gotta go. I am running late, guys. Y'all have a great day. I wanted to talk through these other games that happened yesterday, but I am all out of time. But I really do thank you all. But real quick, the Chicago Sky beat the Minnesota Lynx 74 to 69. It was a fantastic game by the Chicago Sky. Haley Van Lith, Oh, I got some confidence in you. I got some real confidence in you, girl. Okay, next up we got Las Vegas. LA Sparks versus the Golden State Valkyries. It was a nail biter of a game, but ultimately the Sparks was able to get the dub 83-82. And then finally we got the Las Vegas Aces who beat the Phoenix Mercury barely 85-84. These were very, very close games, and these were games where the bench players closed it out all across the board. This was very, very fun. And also, guys, let me know as we end the chat, maybe in the comments after the stream is over, let me know if you all would like me to come, because I really do want to talk about the Chicago Sky and that game in detail, but I'm all out of time today. So let me know if y'all want to get a quick evening stream where we just talk through the Chicago Sky and that game in particular and what I saw and whatnot. So let me know if you all would like to see that. Okay, we will end on this. Thank you so much to Fadaha for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Says, peace to the chat. Salute to you. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I got to go. Y'all have a good one. And I will see y'all in the next one. Be kind to people. Tell somebody that they matter because they really, really do. Don't disrespect people just for the fun of it. It's dumb. You're wasting your time. And also, like, you're not being an awesome human being. Be an awesome human being. Be kind to other people. And y'all have a great day. And I will see y'all maybe later tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. Anyway, either way, y'all have a good one. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.